Okay, YouTube, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the gym. Welcome back to another training video. This is full body D. This is my stiff leg deadlift day. I also plan on hack squatting today, assuming that it's available when it's time for me to get to that. But that is the plan today. Every time that I film this workout, I say this every time. This is the hardest workout of my rotation, just purely because of the exercises that are in it. I'm gonna stiff leg today, hack squat, dip, pull up, and then a bunch of other stuff around that. Just a quick little update before we get into the lifts. By the time I get this edited, uploaded, all that stuff, I'm gonna be about 13 and a half weeks out of the first show that I plan on doing this year. Right now things are going pretty good. My body weight is really not changing that much, but I'm definitely getting harder and getting leaner outside of the gym. Training is going very good inside of the gym, so I feel really good about the way that the physique is moving along and the fact that I'm recomping essentially. Now I do have a weight cap that I have to hit. The top end of my weight class that I plan on competing in is 176 pounds, and I'm weighing about 185-ish on average most days. So I do need to eventually see that scale start to move down. I still have 13 plus weeks, so I've still got a lot of time to make that happen, but I really don't want to find myself in a position where I'm like heading into peak week and having to worry about whether or not I'm gonna make weight or have to do something drastic in order to make weight. I'd like to be able to make the weight pretty comfortably if, you know, I obviously can't predict the future, but if that's the way that it would work out, that would be ideal. So we're going to need to see that eventually start moving down, but for now I'm kind of happy with where we're at. I've recently increased my cardio from 15 minutes to 20 minutes. I've kind of subconsciously made a little bit of a decrease in my food, and I'm starting to notice that I'm getting hungry, which is nice. You know, some days it can be annoying, but it's you know, starting to take place. Good things are happening. So maybe we'll update with things as we kind of go through the session, but I kind of just want to jump into this one. I'm very excited to get underway with this one today. Abs and calves to start as usual. I probably won't film much of that because that stuff is boring as fuck. I'll probably film the calves though. I am doing all of my calf work single leg right now. I was kind of updating throughout the month that I was dealing with a knee injury. My right knee here was kind of bothering me. Interestingly, what seemed to bother that the most was been doing like bilateral calf raises, 2-leg calf raises. I have some sort of asymmetry from my right to left leg. I have no idea what it is that causes it, but I've always had like hip problems on this side, knee problems on this side, foot problems on this side. My right leg is noticeably smaller than my left. So there's something fucked up with my right leg compared to my left leg. I swear I feel like my left leg is longer than my right leg, because when I do bilateral calf raises, I feel like my left foot is, you know, doing the calf work, and then the right foot is like not fully on the platform. And for whatever reason, I've just noticed that when I do double leg calf raises, that is actually what bothers my knee the most right now. So I've been doing all of my calf work single leg, which feels great. Unfortunately, it's just like a time constraint. We have this like unilateral hip press, and I've been using that for calf raises, and it's fucking awesome. I love how fucking good it feels, but just it takes a lot of plates to get the job done. And I don't, you know, today I'm going to use like 8 plates per side, which is like 16 total plates. So I'll try and keep this in the video, but you'll notice when I go from like the right leg to the left leg, I just take all the plates off one side and put them on the other side. You know, the alternative is using 16 fucking plates and having 8 plates on each side, and then I've got to take off 16 plates. You know, I don't know which one sucks worse, having to take off 16 plates or having to move 8 plates from side to side, but either way, I usually get that done first because out of all the exercises that I'll do today, I'll probably spend the most time doing that one just purely from fucking loading plates and everything. So we'll just kind of jump right into things today. Let's get into it. Okay, adductor and abductor. I've already done the abductor. I'm going to get into the adductor now. I think that there could be some conversation programming-wise about where these go. Do these go at the beginning of like a leg day or at the end of a leg day? I always prefer to do them at the beginning for a couple of reasons. One, I feel like I can put more effort into them when I do them at the beginning versus if I do like my squatting and everything first. By the time I get to this type of stuff, I'm usually pretty tired and I can't put as much effort into it. And I don't find that that happens vice versa. Like if I do this stuff first, I don't find that it affects my squatting and leg pressing in the same way that it does if I do it reverse. And then second, this is part of like the warm-up for me. We use our adductors and abductors to stabilize our hips in all of the movements that we do, but especially like our squatting and deadlifting and leg pressing and stuff. So this kind of gives me an opportunity to turn those muscles on and kind of activate them and feel them, get a mind muscle connection with them before I have to use them to stabilize my whole body in my major compound movement. So just some food for thought if you've never thought about it from a movement perspective and not just purely hypertrophy, and how are you training the muscle for growth? How are you training it for movement to prime the muscle to work further down in the session? With that same thought process and sentiment that I talked about with my hips, I think about that with my feet and my back, which is why I do calves and abs first. So by this point in the session, I've done calves, abs, adductor, and adductor. So my feet are warmed up and ready to go. My back and core and all of the muscles in there are warmed up and ready to go. And now my hips are warmed up and ready to go. And right now, the only thing that I need to do before I get into the bread and butter stuff is get the knees going, and we'll do that with the leg curl and the leg extension. Same thought process as the adductor and abductor. When they're available, I like to do these before I deadlift and squat, again, for the same reasons. I feel like if I leg curl before I deadlift and leg extend before I squat, I get more out of those versus if I squat and deadlift first. By the time I get to the leg extension and the leg curl, I'm pretty tired and I can't put as much effort into those. So the leg extension and the leg curl are exercises that are focusing on getting the muscles fully shortened, and then the RDL and the hack squat are going to be exercises that focus on getting the muscles fully lengthened. And because muscles have a harder time getting shortened as they get fatigued, and later on in the session it gets harder to get the muscle shortened, usually for most muscle groups, but especially with my legs, I like to do the exercises that are kind of more shortened focused first. All right, up until this point, it's been a great session, but it's time to get into the stuff that we're really here for. I'm happy with the way that I'm connecting with everything up until this point, and the numbers are fine, but these the numbers on these next two movements, the stiff leg and the hack squat, that's going to determine how I feel about today. So I'm just not even going to bullshit, going to get straight into the work. Up until this point, I've just been running off of vibes and caffeine, haven't even had the headphones turned on yet, but I'm going to get those turned on and get into a zone. This is what we're here for today. figured that this would be as good a time I've ever to update with what's going on. RDLs, or stiff leg deadlifts, and hack squats were amazing. Very, very happy with the progression on both of those, especially the hack squats. I'm really hesitant to say that my knee is back to 100% because it isn't at 100% yet, but especially the last like week or two, I've been getting back to hitting some weights that I haven't hit since before the injury. So I'm just very happy with how those exercises have gone lately, but especially today. The stiff leg and the hack squat, that wraps up the lower body portion of the workout. So now we're getting into the upper body portion. I just already banged out dumbbell curls and dumbbell laterals. Those are two like low effort exercises for me. I can just do like 2 warm-ups for each of those and then just kind of bang those out in like a superset fashion. So the only thing that leaves is chest and triceps, and then lats and upper back. So for the chest movement, we are going to do a pec deck fly. What I want you guys to notice on the pec deck fly is that I'm trying to focus on not having any bend in my elbow. I critique clients on this all the time. They come to hit a contraction for a fly and they still have a bend in their elbow. You'll notice when I do the fly, I try to extend my arms as much as possible. I'm thinking about keeping my arms as long as I possibly can. I don't want to bend at the elbow at all. I'm completely straight. I'm trying to take the bicep out of the equation as much as possible and isolate the pecs. And then for the tricep movement, I'm gonna get into a dip. A dip is an awesome movement because it's gonna help bring in some more pec. This time pec lengthening. The pec deck focuses on getting the pec fully shortened, and especially because this is a hammer strength pec deck, it's going to overload there. And then the dip is going to focus on getting some pec lengthening, but it's also going to be great for your triceps. And you'll notice when I get to the top, another thing that I critique clients on all the time, when I get to the top of a dip, I think about doing a tricep extension and I flex hard and I engage the triceps. I don't just come up to the top. I fully flex and extend the elbow. I contract the triceps at the top. So a dip is going to bring in some lower pec and some front delt, but I'm primarily programming this and cueing this with my triceps. And then after the pec deck fly and then the dip, for the lat and upper back movements, I go straight into a weighted pull-up because the dip and the pull-up are on the same station, so I can kind of superset those. And then usually the upper back movement that I would like to do today is the Arsenal seal row, because that is right next to the dip and the pull-up. So I get to do the dip and the pull-up kind of back to back, and then the seal row is right there next to it. All right, everyone, banger session this morning. I didn't mention this at the beginning. I just kind of wanted to get right into the video, but I did this lift at 5 in the morning today. I went to bed early last night, very excited about stiff leg deadlifts, and I woke up this morning thinking about stiff leg deadlifts, and I just couldn't go back to bed, and I felt great. I felt wide awake at 4 a.m., so I said, fuck it, we're gonna go in and we're gonna do it now. I love going to the gym in the morning when the sun isn't up yet, and then coming out of the gym and like the sun is just rising and my day's getting started. There's a Starbucks across the street. I'm going to go grab some coffee for Carissa and I, and we're going to go home and get started on the work day. I have a really busy work day today as well, but such an awesome feeling to get the day started with my hardest training session done out of the way. I'm really happy with the way that training is going. I did not do any posing today, but I'm happy with the way that I looked. I kind of had my sleeves rolled up, and I'm kind of noticing that I'm starting to get a little bit leaner and vascular through the arms. So pretty happy about that. Really just in general, very happy with the way that prep is going. So I'm gonna go get this coffee, go home and get some food in, and then get started with check-ins, and then editing this video and get it up for you guys as soon as I can. So as always, if there's any questions or anything, guys, please leave your questions as comments in the video. I would love to help you guys any way that I can. If you're interested in coaching or any of my consultations, I have that in the description as well. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. If you're training today, then train hard. And if you're resting today, then rest hard. And as always, guys, take care of yourselves and stay tuned for the next video.